So welcome everybody to today's Wednesday practice, our AVE Mittwochspraxis. Today is a special occasion because we're gonna have it all in English, although the practice itself, the main practice, will be provided in German language too. My name is Nina Böcklin. I'm the Managing Director of AVE Institute. In German, it's the abbreviation for Achtsamkeit, Verbundenheit und Engagement. And I'm very, very happy and grateful that we could somehow manage to get you, Amy Burke, today as our expert to lead this Wednesday practice. Amy has been a teacher for many, many years, the founder of Mindwell Education, has written at least 2 books that I'm aware of, also translated into German. And today we're gonna access our inner teacher, because oftentimes, especially when we are very much stressed, when we have a lot of obligations, we feel that we can't really see ourselves, see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And yet there's so much wisdom, so much in terms of resources within us that we can access through different media, through different practices. And one of them is the art and method of contemplative writing. So I'm very much looking forward to today's session. And I'm super happy that you are here today. Dear Amy, over to you.
How wonderful to be here. I really feel deep gratitude for this possibility to lead the session. And I want to thank Nina for all the work she's done to make that happen and all the emails we've had and her support. And also to thank AVE to have made this space on the second Wednesday of every month for connecting and being together. And I also want to thank all of you, the participants who are here live, and for those of you on the recording, hello. It's not easy to make space to do the kinds of things that we know can be nourishing for ourselves. And you're doing that by just showing up here and by watching the recording, if that's how you're seeing this. So thanks to everybody. And thank you also that I had the possibility of doing this in English as well. If you ever have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. They can be in English or in German as well. Nina would help me with that. And we're going to have opportunity to do some meditation practice together, the writing practice, of course, which is the fundamental part of this evening's session. And we're going to have a chance to talk in small groups and also in the bigger group altogether. And before we do that, I need to actually remind everybody, if you haven't already, for tonight's session, you will need a pen or a pencil and paper, something to write on. I think you were reminded, but just in case you don't, now's the time to go get that. We're not going to start right away with the writing, so you've got a moment or two to get yourself sorted and together. And as you're doing that, I'm going to share just a couple of slides first. So the session is called a contemplative writing practice, accessing the inner teacher. Also, perhaps could be called really just listening to yourself, to ourselves. And I wanted to look very briefly at these inner development goals because they are really at the heart of the work that AVE is doing. And you might know this already if you've been involved with AVE. And there's a framework of 5 dimensions with the inner development goals, and they comprise 23 skills of human inner growth and development. Now, tonight, we're going to see if we can't explore 3 of the particular skills within these dimensions, the authenticity, trust, and presence. And in particular, the authenticity and presence are in the dimension of being, which is predominantly has to do with our relationship to ourselves. And trust, we're going to be sort of delving into a little bit the collaboration and even relating to each other a tiny little bit. With authenticity, what we mean, or the inner development goals, what they mean is embracing your true self, who you truly are, by accessing deeper insights. And how do we do that? Well, we'll see if we can tonight. And accepting who you are without pretense. Not always easy. Trust, so building confidence and connection by creating safe spaces for genuine expression. And that's really what these Wednesday sessions are about, building our connection and safe spaces. And then finally, the presence, which is cultivating the ability to be fully engaged in the moment beyond the distractions of daily life. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to, I don't think, like, accomplish all of these tonight, but we're certainly going to explore them, investigate a little bit what this is all about. And we'll do it through the writing, but of course, I don't want to just jump right into that. I'm going to give ourselves a moment to be settled, and I will guide us through a short meditation practice. Just checking my time. So you don't need to do too much to prepare for this, really. Just however you are, wherever you are sitting right now. Some are on a chair, some maybe on a couch, that's fine. If some of you are not even sure if the camera's off, you might need to be lying down right now, that's fine. You know, whatever position your body is in right now, let it be as it is. But let's bring the attention as best we can to the lower half of the body first. So you're sitting there, but let's bring attention to the fact that you're sitting there. Just drop down, drop the attention down, low, low, down. You're sitting. Maybe you can have your feet flat on the floor. If not, that's fine. We're really just providing ourselves with a stable base, a stable foundation. Because it's from that foundation where the spine can rise, right? So the spine is upright, but as a friend of mine says, upright, but not uptight. So just upright, but there can be a strength, but also a sense of relaxing into this. Let the spine do its job. It's just straight. It's just doing what it's doing. But your shoulders, they can relax. You've got the strong back. Now you soften the front. The chest can open. The belly relaxes. No need to hold on to anything. You've got a strong back, a soft front. The arms are just relaxing by the side of the body. Hands might be palms face down on the lap or the legs. And relax the muscles of the face, the jaw, the cheeks, the forehead. Relax all the muscles that you need to talk. You don't need to talk right now. Just no need to do anything. And in this practice, we'll play with perhaps having the eyes open. Maybe many of us are used to having them closed, but we'll just try for a few moments to have the eyes open. So let's see what this means. We can for many of us, the computer screen is ahead of us. That's no problem. You can just lower the gaze a little bit so that you're looking sort of down and in the distance a little bit. So the eyes are opened, but the eyes are also relaxed so that you are sure you're seeing, but you're not necessarily looking. So your eyes are just resting on a particular spot. And we have the eyes open, so we just play with the intention of like not tuning anything out, that we are including everything in our practice. The world around us, the room around us, the computer in front of us. But just rest the eyes on one spot, let it all be there. Breathe just as you have been breathing all day long. Breathe the way you have been breathing before I even talked about breathing. And feel the breath in your body. Don't notice it, but feel it. It's very nuanced, and see what that's like to feel the breath in the body. And when you notice that you have forgotten to feel the breath in your body, you just feel it again. And again, if you're not used to having your eyes open, that's fine. You can close them if you want, but try maybe keeping them open. Relaxed gaze. And we'll just sit for a few more moments together. And when you have forgotten to feel the breath in the body, you just come back and feel the breath again. I'll let you know when the practice is up, just about 2 minutes from now. And you can bring your practice to a close. Just let the technique go. And we'll move right into the writing activity right now. And I will have a slide to help us through it. So before we start, I'll give you some instruction. There are 5 steps to the writing process, and we will move through them each one at a time. And there will be a time limit for each of the steps, but I will let you know what that is, and I will keep the time for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. What you write is private. This is for you and for you only. So you can feel free to write whatever you need to. I will give us some ideas, but just so you know, what you write is private, that's for you. So you won't have to share it. I'm just going to get my timer organized. Okay. And we will begin. Think of a problem or a dilemma that you are facing in your personal or professional life and express it in one sentence. So maybe not the biggest problem you're having. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. But one problem or dilemma you're facing, and to express it in one sentence only. And for this, we have 1 minute. Just one sentence. Okay. Step 2. Write more fully about that. So now you can write about this problem. And for this, we have 4 minutes. There's 1 more minute left for that step. 1 more minute left. So just finish the sentence you're writing. Just finish that off. And before we move to the next step, just take a moment, check in. How am I feeling right now as I'm writing about this problem I'm having? And see if we can get out of thinking about how we feel and just feel how we feel, which means noticing the body. What is going on in the body? How's the chest? How are the shoulders? How is the belly or stomach? What do you notice in the body? What do you feel as you're writing about this problem? And we continue. Step 3, synthesize it into 10 words. It doesn't have to be a full sentence. So the problem that you're writing about, break it down into 10 words. You have 1.5 minutes for this. Only 10 words. Okay, 10 words only. And maybe take an intentional breath and lower the shoulders. Sometimes we can get a bit tight when we have a task, right? Next step. Make a visual representation of this dilemma problem. Draw it. And don't worry if you can't draw, and if you can, enjoy. Oh, even if you can't, enjoy. 3 minutes. Draw it. There's 30 seconds left for the drawing. 30 seconds left. Okay, even if you're not done, just let the pen or pencil down for a moment. So even if you're not done, just pause for a moment. And again, we'll check in. How are we doing now? So you just check in. Not thinking about how I feel, but feeling how I feel. And what helps us with that is the body. What's the head? How's the head? The back. The front of the body. And allowing the eyes to close for just one moment. And in your mind, bring up the picture that you were just drawing. And see if there's anything else that wants to be added to that drawing? Maybe yes, maybe no. So we can open the eyes and then go back to the drawing and see if anything else needs to be added. Just finish that off. Okay, and the final step, write about this process. So reflect on the exercise that you just did, basically. How was this exercise for you? 2 minutes. And just finishing up that last sentence. And we can put the pen or pencil down and do a final check-in with ourselves. How do I feel now? How is the chest, the belly, the neck? So that's our writing exercise. And I'd like us to have the opportunity to share about it, not about the content. Like I said, that's private. I mean, you can if you want, but that's private. But really is to share with a partner about basically about step number 5. You know what you wrote about? How was this process? How did I find this reflection? That's what you can share about if you want to. So in a moment, we're going to put you into a breakout, very short time, only 5 minutes. And you will just be with one other person and you will find out from them, how did they find that exercise? And you listen, because most of communication happens with listening. And when that person is done speaking, they will let you know, and then it is your turn. And you say, how did you find that exercise? Please keep an eye on the timer in the corner of your screen so that both people get a chance to talk. And then we'll come back to the whole group and share together. If by some reason you can't share or don't want to, you don't have to, but just let the other partner share if they want to, please. So Nina will put us into those groups and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Thank you. It's lovely to see there. Most people have smiles on when they come back to the main room. It's nice to see. Better than the alternative for coming back from breakout room. Does anybody want to share with the whole group just about for them how they found that practice, the writing exercise? We'd love to hear, because we weren't in a breakout. How did you find that exercise? And feel free if you want to speak in German too, and then Nina can maybe give me the translation. Yeah.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yes, Nadia.
Then I start. Thank you very much. That was very enlightening and very interesting. We talked about, or actually I talked about, my partner listened very, very deeply, carefully about how interesting it was. I really felt I could go deep into the problem, and it stunned me how exact the visualization was. It really feels like, yeah, that's how I feel about this problem. And I felt in this checking in into your body, I felt all this tightness of the problem, because I thought about it and I visualized it. I kind of asked myself, maybe there will be questions afterwards, but I just asked myself, where's my solution now? So I see the problem really clear, and I know what not to do, but I don't know how. And so I'm kind of still stuck in, oh wow, that's a problem. I see it clearer now, but still there's this big problem. That's what we talked about, or what I talked about.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much. It's so helpful to hear people's experiences. And for you, what I'm hearing is you say that you're very clear on the problem, right? And I also heard you say that, you know what not to do, and that may point you into a solution. However, I want to say that in this exercise is not necessarily about finding a solution. It's great if it gives you a solution, great, but that's not the intention of, and I know, Nadia, you weren't saying that it was, I know that, but it's important to recognize that for ourselves, and especially if we want to teach this to other people, that there's no outcome you're looking for. We're not looking for a solution. We are not hoping other people get a solution. That is not the point. Great, like I said, great side effect if it happens. But the point of this is just a practice that is helping us to connect in again with ourselves, to make some time and space for being with what's happening. And if you have a problem going on, we were just taking time to be with it and to give it some attention in a contained format. Sometimes when there's a container around it, that can be helpful in some ways. if you feel like you have a major problem and you're obsessing about it, it's going over, give yourself 15 minutes. Say, okay, I'm going to deal with this problem for 15 minutes and I'm going to do this exercise. And then I'm going to try to put it aside for a bit. So you give it some attention. Thank you, Nadia, for sharing. Does anybody else want to just let us know? Yeah, Katarina.
Thanks. Thanks. Yes, Amy, I'm very thankful for this opportunity to know what is happening with my dilemma or with my professional issue, and I saw in this in the steps, that's step number 3, when I had to choose just 10 words, I could intensify my dilemma, which I was about in step number 2, to write too broad. So in step number 2, I saw I'm not so happy with it. It's too broad, my dilemma. So step number 3 helped me a lot to clarify and to intensify it in both ways. But then the visualization was kind of a compromise. It was like putting in everything what I wrote in step number 2, but then downsizing it into like the drawing abilities that I have and looking forward. And what also helped me a lot was the check-in, for example, after drawing. So I could really add something what I was missing, but I didn't know it. And after check-in, I knew what I missed. This was also very nice for me.
Wow. Katarina, I really appreciate that sharing. That last part you said too about when we took a moment to check in and see is there anything that needs to be added, and you didn't know it needed to be added. But what we were doing there is we just made a little bit of space. And we lack space in a lot of the times, mental space, emotional space, especially, busy lives, busy, as we are as humans, and especially if we're working in education, there seems to be an extra layer of busyness, and it's hard to, as I said at the beginning of the session, to make space, to allow space for contemplation, to be with ourselves. So on a small example, that 30-second even check-in about what else do I need, we were making space. So this would be something I'd want to leave you all with, is this idea of how can I make space? And sometimes it's just by doing nothing. Also not easy to do. Anybody else want to share? We have time for another one. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I could share an interesting experience during this process. So at step 2, I was writing a lot, and was focused on, specific aspects of this problem. And then when it came to the drawing, something completely different arose. So, which also has to do with the problem, but it's a completely different thing to that I was writing about when I had the space for the words. So very beautiful, fun, interesting experience of the different facets problem has, and how you grasp it in different ways, depending on the channels you're using for it. Well, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
Yes.
Sonsoles, absolutely understand what you mean, and it can be a nice surprise, right? Like we think it's about something, and then something else comes out. Like you said in the drawing, it ended up being about something else or related, but so I mean, we're really just learning to listen a little bit more deeply to ourselves. And in order to do that, we need the space, as I keep saying. Any particular questions about the activity itself before I show you a final couple of slides? It is, yes, Amelia, yes.
Hi, thank you. It's just a question about can we do this with children, and how, in what way do we have to change it if working with children?
Thank you for asking that. I think, yes, you can use it with children. I think maybe depending on your age group, you might need to be talking about, if you're with young students, what is a problem? Do we have problems? You do, just depending on your level that you teach, you know best how to engage your young people, what developmental stage they're at. But speaking of developmental stages, we all have an inner life, no matter what stage we are at. So use your best judgment if you're talking about having them focus on a problem, so how big is the problem? Is it small? Maybe you invite them just to think about a very small problem, or, you have to use your best judgment. And the time limits would be maybe shorter depending again on the age of the young child. So yeah, the only advice would be around, you want to not be going into very deep problems with a classroom full of students, But yeah, I think you could use it. Why not? It could be fun. Or maybe they do it all in a group first, or use your teacher skills to help you figure out how to use it. But yeah, I mean, I learned it at a university level, but I've also used it with high school students. But that's because I'm a high school teacher. So depends.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. So, and I just want to say, I put it on the slide, but I adapted that from something that was taught to me by Richard Brown and Arthur Zions. So just want to make sure that I say that. So if you do use it, please just also, you can reference them. It's on the slide. And let me just finish with my last couple of slides for you. Thank you for sharing. It's always really helpful to hear what's going on for people. Let me just make you guys a bit smaller. When we talk about at the beginning about these inner development goals, I think it's really important for me to say that our inner development is an ongoing process. It's not a result. I don't think I'm going to wake up one day and be like, I am fully innerly developed. I don't think it happens that way. But just because it doesn't happen that way doesn't mean we can't move towards understanding ourselves better. Because when we do that, we understand others. And this is where the peace is going to come in our world. This is where the peace will come in our classrooms. So that when we looked at authenticity earlier, I talked about accepting who you are, right? But this also means accepting the part of ourselves that doesn't accept ourselves. That takes some kind of care, I think, ongoing. And trust in building safe spaces and places, whether it's in the classroom or here on the second Wednesday of every month at AVE, is also to recognize that everybody is struggling in some way. We are not the only ones who suffer. So when we are suffering, know that we are not alone. And that might feel sad, that other people suffer, but it's also true. It's also true. And this idea of developing and cultivating presence, It says beyond the distractions of daily life. And I'd like to also just add a little twist to that and say it's also the idea of engaging in the moment with the distractions of daily life, that everything is included, that the headache, the sore stomach, the fight you had with your partner, the lessons you have to plan, the sunshine, the ice cream, that all of it, all the distractions, those are a part of life. Everything is included in the present moment. It's not some like dreamy, only rainbows and lollipops spot that we're trying to get to. All of it is the present moment. We include it all and we do our best to live in and among all the distractions as well. We keep trying. That's all we keep doing. Yeah. Nina mentioned the books that we've written, and there's 2 of them, and they've been translated into German, and you can find them on Arbor, and I also know that AVE has a link to them on their website as well. And I want to really thank you from the bottom of my heart to be able to come here on a Wednesday night and connect with you. Feels very nourishing for me, and I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about the work I do, or what's like working with schools, and I also do individual meditation instruction, or anything at all, or a question about tonight's session, you can find my email on our website, and that's themindwell-education.com. I'm very happy to hear from strangers who aren't really strangers now that we've spent this time together. Feel free to email me anytime. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for the work you do in the world. Please keep continuing to try as best you can to take good care. It's important.
Thank you so much, Amy. From the bottom of my heart, it was such a joy and pleasure to have you here tonight with our AVE session. Thank you for your beautiful guidance and presence. I myself have the luxury of moderating these sessions, and once more today, through your guidance, through your practice, I feel not only nourished, but also kind of surprised myself through the practice and take away some new insights. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Take care. And for all of you who want to join the next session, the next Mittwochspraxis, that will be on February 12th with Mona Bektesi on the topic of bewegt und aufgehoben in Stille und Präsenz. So I hope to see many of you back then again, and I wish you a wonderful evening. Bye-bye. Take good care.